Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Enonic webinar. My name is Alan. I'm engineering manager at Enonic. And in the second part, our very own CTO, Thomas Sigdestad, will talk about our latest releases, which introduce some fantastic new features like content projects and distributed sessions.
We have done a few releases before summer and just recently. XP 7.3 and Content Studio 3, which include the content projects and tons of UI improvements. XP 7.4, which was more like a technical release, but it basically replaces Elasticsearch as our cluster component in the backend with something called Hazelcast. And this is going to bring a bunch of new cool features to XP as we move forward. It's basically like a memory grid component. Also, we released the first version of Enonic Explorer, which is an enterprise search platform. Enables you to index any kind of source and manage the search from a back office standpoint and deliver this through any kind of front end or interface. So yeah, basically a search platform. And React for XP, as you've seen, we just released this a few months ago. So what's going to happen next? So XP 7.5 is coming soon. It's literally in the testing phase now. Basically, it includes some stability and other minor features, including a new default error page. There's improved logging when you do dumps. There's an option when you do snapshot restore where you can just specify latest. So it will restore your latest snapshot. There's improvements related to unpublishing. There's now geodistance calculations together with your query results, so you can see the distance to each hit. Yeah, stability and bug fixes. So coming out really soon, 2 weeks-ish. Next is probably more fascinating. It's XP 7.6 and likely Content Studio 3.2 or maybe 3.1, we'll see. And it includes this new layering functionality, and it's gonna kind of revolutionize what you can do with XP. As you know, dealing with language is not an easy thing. How do you manage to translate? How do you manage to reuse across different, countries, for instance, like this scenario? How do you secure only the right people have access to the right sites, the right languages and content and countries and whatever. So basically, we've been working really hard to make this reality, and it's based on the projects feature. So now you can add layers within the project. So basically here you see you have the top layer countries, then you have China in English and China in Chinese, Denmark in English, Denmark in Danish. So that's a scenario where one customer is sort of wants to have each country in 2 languages. And basically how it works, you create content at one level and the content drips down to the levels below. So in this case, if you create something in the countries level, it will drip down to all these other variants, and then it's up to each layer to make use of that content, translate it, or even create more content. So if you want some specific Chinese content, you probably create it in China here, and then translate it to Chinese. So here's like just a quick look at how the interface looks. On the left, you can see the structure, and the gray stuff is things that are literally just inherited, and the not gray stuff is localized. So it means you can basically leave stuff inherited and publish it straight away, and you choose what to publish on each layer. Okay, Content Studio Plus. Some of the features coming up, the more advanced features, basically like the layers widget you have on the right there, is not distributed in the standard Content Studio, but it's distributed in Content Studio Plus, which is only going to be available for subscription customers. But don't worry, all basic features will be in Content Studio. We're also creating a rewrite application, and short version, it removes the need for going to various Apache web servers or similar to create mile-long rewrite rules. You can simply manage them directly from the rewrite app, and you can even do it in production safely. So it's one of the typical sort of time-consuming tasks for deploying and setting up XP, where you're passing things back and forth between different people. Also, other things coming in Content Studio is general usability improvements, item sets, usability, content slug availability checks, bigger model windows, etc. So tons of improvements for editors there. Also, maybe late this year, but most likely next year, we'll see some interesting stuff coming. You have the Grid API, but you also have so the Grid API will expose features, so everyone can start using distributed memory object locks. Means you can do lots of fancy things. If you want to have any kind of real-time objects going on in the front end. So it's typically useful for interaction, and you're going to see a lot of this used in Content Studio. Also, Enonic Cloud, XP as a service with self-service is coming. We are in an alpha stage right now, and testing it on a few selected users, and we'll be testing on more users as we move forward. The short version is you'll be able to sign up and get your own XP instances running in a few minutes. And here's just a quick screenshot of what we're doing right now. So basically, you can get XP running, you can different environments, and you can set up routes to send your traffic in. So routes are basically a wrapper of vhosts where you have even more control than a regular vhost. So here you can see applications are then not installed directly in XP. They're managed and installed via Enonic Cloud. So it means you can roll them out to different environments, for instance, and configure them. Content archiving, dashboards, schedule, publish, and modification, collaborative editing, and custom input types are some of the other features we're working on. So I hope that's all interesting, and look forward to hearing your questions or comments either here in the chat or on our forums.
Thank you, Thomas and Espen. Some really exciting content and news today. A lot to digest and look forward to.